Hello again everybody, this is Matt. Quick update video, just some records, some CDs, cassettes, and one or two other bits and pieces that I haven't shown you yet. These are all mostly thrift store finds, but one or two eBay finds and some VCLT from Gregory Short. So let's get started. Let's start with the vinyl. Three records that came from the Pet Adoption thrift store, which I know Greg is very familiar with. But 7-inch single, Paul Young, Love of the Common People. One of my favorite tracks of his, actually. I do have his No Parley album. I don't remember if this song's on it, so I was like, yeah, what the heck, I'll just get it, because the prices at the Pet Adoption thrift store are really reasonable. They're very cheap, so what the heck. And it's on one of my favorite labels of the 70s, the orange CBS label. It's even better if we don't have the Duke cut out, but that's okay. So yeah, very pleased to find that. Next up we have Grace Jones, Nightclubbing. A little bit of an 80s kind of club classic, this. I do have one of her other albums, and I forget the name of it, but it's the one that has I'm Not Perfect on it. But this is an earlier album. This is from 1981, in fact quite a bit earlier, and it has the classic Pull Up the Bumper on it. That's the back of it. And a little bit of ring wear on it, but again, this is from the Pet Adoption thrift store. The prices were so good, couldn't pass it up. It's a VG Plus copy. It's on Island Records. Turn it around. Right there. Very cool. Still needs cleaning. I haven't cleaned any of these records yet, so I haven't actually listened to them. But maybe this weekend. Next up, Chicago 17. I do have a few Chicago albums. I think I have 3 others. But the main reason I got this is because it has You're the Inspiration on it. One of my favorite Chicago tracks. It also has Hard Habit to Break, which I think is the only other song that I know on here off the top of my head. And it's on the Warner Brothers label. Again, this is from the Pet Adoption thrift store. I don't remember how much the vinyl is there. I want to say it's like $1 per record, something like that. It's really cheap. Okay, next up is the VCLT that I mentioned. So we had the pleasure of Greg and his lovely wife Christina's company last weekend. They came over for dinner, and Greg brought several gifts with him, which was very very generous. And one of those was this Black Snake Moan, Blind Lemon Jefferson. And I have to be honest and say I don't know much about it. I have heard of it. Well, I've heard of Black Snake Moan anyway. But I really, yeah, I like I said, I really don't know too much about it, and I haven't listened to it yet. But it's on Milestone Records. In fact, I think Greg's already cleaned this. It looks very clean actually. So this is probably good to play kind of right out of the gate, but there's the Milestone label. Very nice, very nice. And so it says, a third Milestone collection of the classic country blues of the legendary singer/guitarist. And of course it's talking about Blind Lemon Jefferson here. And so it gives a little sort of blurb on the back. You've got a whole bunch of information. The country blues is the most simple, direct, and intense blues form. It flourished in particular in the 1920s and 30s, growing out of the deep South and Southwest, where several distinct and clearly recognizable variations emerged, such as Delta style, Georgia style, Texas style, etc. And interestingly, the little blurb here is by John Hammond, who I most definitely have heard of. So yeah, again, thank you, Greg. Really very generous, and I'm definitely looking forward to giving this a spin. Definitely. Okay, I'll stick with the VCLT from Greg. Um, Now this is kind of cool. This is a record frame by the company Caillou. Now just sort of just throw it out there. I almost feel like I'm doing a bit of advertising, but Greg has done a video on at least one of their products, and I think they actually sent him the products to be reviewed. So he had received this, and said that he didn't want it. He wasn't completely crazy about it, and asked if I would like it. So I said sure, and actually I quite like it. It's nice construction. It's a wooden frame, and at a glance it just looks like one of those things you stick on the wall. Well, I guess it is, but there's a little bit more to it than that. And I like the fact that the wood is unfinished, so you could, if you wanted to, put a nice finish on it. And indeed, it does go up on the wall, but check it out. It opens up like a window, so it's very easy to change the records. Now, Greg had said that you cannot fit a double LP in this, but I'm not sure that's right. So I'm gonna try it. Just from looking at the width of it, I wasn't entirely convinced about that. Sorry, Greg. So, let me pick out a double LP from my little collection right here. So let's okay. So let's take Pink Floyd's The Wall. Now, admittedly, I've made this a little bit thicker because I keep the record outside of the sleeve. So let's take the records out. And I would have thought that this would fit, but I could be wrong. So let's open it up. I'm not even sure you need to open it up actually to do this, but I mean that seems okay to me. It was a little bit of a squeeze, just a little bit, but yeah, I think you can. Now, admittedly, it would be a bit of a more comfortable fit for a single LP, but yeah, I think you can get away with a double. So yeah, this is very cool. Thank you, Greg. I gotta figure out if I can put it up somewhere. With where my setup is, it's kind of limited room, and there's not really anywhere else in the house that it would make sense. But I'm thinking I could possibly put it behind the turntable. There's two, but the turntable's in the corner. There's two walls it could go on. But I think I want to stain it first. I want to get some wood stain just to darken it. But yeah, again, really appreciate it, Greg. It's I think it's pretty cool. I know you said you weren't crazy about it. You said it kind of misaligned at the bottom, and I see what you mean. It is a tiny bit, but it's not too bad. It's not. So yeah, very cool indeed. Thank you. All right, next up, let's go on to the cassettes. Just a few cassettes right here. This first one I found at a Goodwill. Doobie Brothers, Best of the Doobie Brothers, Volumes 1 and 2. There's 2 albums on one cassette right here. Okay. Looks like it's from the early 80s, 1983 I think. Just from looking at the copyright. And yeah, I do have the first Best of album on vinyl, but I don't have the second. So, and again, this was cheap. This was, well, I think it might have been $1, but which really isn't too bad for Goodwill prices in Southern California. So, next 3 cassettes I got at the Pet Adoption thrift store. First 2 are just Christmas tapes. My wife was complaining that we didn't have enough Christmas music. I have I have a Now That's What I Will Call Christmas CD, but there's only so many times you can listen to it before it starts to, to grate a little bit. So I picked up a couple of Christmas tapes. What the heck, you know. She puts up with all of my music crap in the corner, so I guess the least I can do is to buy a little Christmas music. And then this next one, again, was from the Pet Adoption Thrift Store. This is a very interesting album. It's the Capitol Blues Collection Sampler, Rumble and Scratch. And it has it's a compilation. Take it out of the case right there. You can see it a little bit better. And it looks like it's from 1995, and it has the likes of Muddy Waters, Memphis Slim, Roy Brown, okay, T-Bone Walker. I think I've heard of T-Bone Walker. So you know, it's got a bunch of Lightning Hopkins, okay, and just a bunch of tracks. And there's a whole sort of little blurb about the cassette here, but. And again, the Pet Adoption Thrift Store is really cheap. The cassettes are like 25 cents or 50 cents at most. Couldn't pass this up. It's got some really good stuff on here. Okay, on to the CDs. First up, this was an eBay purchase. Star Wars Force Awakens soundtrack. I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan too. I wouldn't regard myself as a Trekkie or whatever the corresponding term is for somebody who likes Star Wars by any means. I don't have action figures or anything like that. I will go and see the new Star Wars movie probably on the opening night, or maybe the following evening. But I'm not somebody who's gonna wait outside at midnight for hours or anything for it. So anyway, but I really do like the soundtrack. This came up at a cheap price. It was like $5 or $6. I really wanted it on vinyl, but I just couldn't justify it. When I couldn't justify spending like $30 or $35 on vinyl when I could pick this up for like $5 or $6. And really, I actually bought this for just the final scene. I love the music to the final scene where like Rey's going up the steps and everything. And that music's reused actually in the trailer for the Last Jedi, the next Star Wars movie. So very cool. I've listened to some of it. I listened to the first few tracks, and I listened to the last track, and sounds good. Next up, the UK Now That's What I Call Music Volume 90. This is actually from more than 2 years ago. We're up to now 97 now in the UK. This is from 2015. I've been gradually collecting these. I'm trying to get all of them. I probably have at least close to 3/4 of them now, but there's probably still like 20 I don't have. And I don't know many of the songs. I know Uptown Funk that's on here, and honestly most of the rest of the tracks in here are kind of crap. Such is the way with modern music. Yeah, I don't even know what the next best song here, from what I've listened to, that just my personal taste, was probably Neo, Coming With You. I had listened to that and thought it was pretty good. Oh, it does have a decent Sam Smith song on here, and the Years and Years song King is decent as well. But yeah, most of the rest of it's kind of throwaway. But like you say, I like to collect these. Next up, let's see, this next one was from Savers, I think. That's Depeche Mode, Violator, classic album. First Depeche Mode album I have. I do have 1 or 2 7-inch singles of theirs, but I don't have anything on 12-inch vinyl. Didn't have anything on CD except a few tracks and compilation albums. So yeah, I know a number of the songs. I know Personal Jesus, Enjoy the Silence, Policy of Truth. Enjoy the Silence is a classic track. It's a great song. So yeah, I think this was $2, I think. Next up we have Jude Cole, Start the Car. Now this came from the Pet Adoption Thrift Store. I was really thrilled to find this. I love the track Tell the Truth. I first heard it years ago in a supermarket, and it was shortly after those apps came out that the song identifier apps. You play a song for like 5 seconds, and it can tell you what it is. And so it was playing in the supermarket, and so I kind of held my phone up with this app going, and sure enough, it came up with Jude Cole, Tell the Truth. So I bought the album on Amazon, but I might still have the files on my iPod. I'm not sure if I do, and my iPod's been acting up anyway. So, and when I found this, and again, it's a pet adoption thrift store, that's dirt cheap. So I don't remember how much this was, $1, something like that. And it's got some other really good songs on there too. So yeah, really pleased to find that. Okay, the last CD, and I was really thrilled to find this. This is a Kenny Wayne Shepherd, 10 Days Out, Blues from the Backroads. And I have to admit, I don't know too much about blues. I like it, I just don't own a lot of it. Very little. So I'll be the first to admit that most of the names on here I'm not very familiar with, except a couple. But I thought this was such a cool concept. It's a CD and a DVD. And I'll read the little sort of synopsis here. It says, in June of 2004, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, along with friends Chris Layton and Tommy Shannon of Double Trouble. I assume that's not Double Trouble, the sort of club dance act of the late 80s. No, I doubt it. So anyway, Tommy Shannon of Double Trouble and Noah Hunt spent an extraordinary 10 days on the road recording and producing a documentary film and live CD. His guests include some of the world's most renowned blues artists, as well as some of the genre's lesser known but rare and towering talents. These 10 days were spent visiting this varied lot of Kenny's blues predecessors in their hometowns to hear their stories and play their music with them, allowing the viewers to immerse themselves in the environments that produce these essential and historical blues players. Set in the present, it is built on the strength of the past, and it sings clearly to the future. 10 Days Out invites you in to experience a heap of blues, a world of music, a real good trip to the heart of America and of Kenny Wayne Shepherd. So he, and along with a few friends, so several of them essentially went on the road, stopping off at places by the sounds. Yeah, I'm sure it was all pre-arranged in advance, but stopping off at places and meeting up with some of these blues legends and some newer blues talent, and just kind of jamming and recording the songs. And I've listened to a few of the tracks on here, and it sounds fantastic. I was kind of blown away by it, actually. But yeah, so it has like the Howlin' Wolf Band. Of course, I am familiar with Howlin' Wolf. The Muddy Waters Band. Okay, I know Muddy Waters, but I don't know any of the others on here. And again, blues is not something I'm that familiar with. And so it might be that some of these names are newer artists, so maybe it's not surprising that I haven't heard of them, but some of them might not be, which could be a little bit embarrassing. But B.B. King. Obviously, I know B.B. King too, but like some of these other names like Brian Lee, Etta Baker, Neil Big Daddy Patman, Henry Townsend, Jerry Boogie McCain, Buddy Flett. I don't know who they are. Maybe some of you guys will. But yeah, and it has a DVD that has some additional tracks on it. So there's a difference. There's not like an overlap. There's different tracks on the DVD versus the CD, so it's kind of cool. I haven't watched the CD yet, but watched the DVD, sorry. But I thought that was a really cool find. Plus, the guy gave it to me for half price at Goodwill, so because I was on the fence about it. I was like, I don't know, because I was already buying a few other things, and so he just said, I'll give it to you for half price. So I said, all right, sold. So that's pretty much it. Oh, at Goodwill, I did also pick up. It's not music related, but Upstairs, Downstairs, complete first season on DVD. This is a British drama classic from the 70s and early 70s actually. And so I just had to get this. It's good. It's 4 disc. It was $3.99, but that's all right. Yeah, I do keep an eye out every now and then in like thrift stores. Um, for for movies, I don't buy DVDs. I would buy Blu-rays for movies, but with some exceptions, like documentaries, I'm fine with it on DVD because I don't. I'm less bothered about the picture quality. And for things like this, which in some cases you can't get on Blu-ray, in other cases you can, but it's way more expensive than the DVD. Um, and plus, this was originally filmed again in the 70s, so it's not like it was ever in HD. So I don't mind buying it on DVD for that. So I haven't watched it yet, but I was kind of pleased to find that. Very cool. So I think that's about every. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. At Savers, I did buy a book. I don't read a lot, I have to admit, and what I do tend to read is usually non-fiction. But Dorling Kindersley's Smithsonian Book of Music. This is a massive, very weighty book. It has, let's see how many pages. Nearly 500 pages, and it just has. It's sort of a history of music. You've got instruments, so all about the trumpet. But then it goes into like genres too. So like, okay, music goes pop, Michael Jackson. We've got information about chart toppers. There's Madonna right there. The Nashville Sound. There's just a lot of cool features in here. So this was originally, originally the retail price was $50, but they had it for $5.99 in Savers. But I had a $5 off any book coupon, plus I had a 30% off your entire order coupon. That is something I like about Savers. If you donate something, and I took in, what did I take in? Clothes, I think, like a bag of clothes I don't wear anymore. And they'll give you the 30% off coupon. So I kind of like that. So I've donated things there a bunch of times, and I have several coupons still actually to use. But I like to wait to use them until it's a. I'm not gonna, if I'm only buying one CD, I won't use one. But if I'm spending, let's say, at least $10, then I'll use one. So yeah, I thought this was really cool, especially with the coupons. It was basically free. So very cool indeed. Alright, thank you guys as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed the new intro for my videos. It occurred to me that my intro was way too long, so I cut it in half. How did I do that? Well, I basically sped it up. I basically by 200%. That's exactly what I did. It's 200% faster, but of course the music isn't 200% faster. I changed it up a little bit, and the old footage from some of my previous videos, that isn't sped up either. That's in normal time. Otherwise, it would look, kind of crazy. But anyway, thank you guys as always for watching. Appreciate it, and until next time, bye bye. Cootie Stark, Brian Lee, Henry Townsend, probably names that mean something to a lot of people, but